Good day, everyone. Today we will discuss the background of the National Transport Policy and its implementing rules and regulations. So, the issues and challenges in the transport sector due to the absence of policy documents are the lack of integrated and coordinated transport network, the overlapping and conflicting functions of transport agencies, the transport safety and security concerns, and the inadequate transport facilities, particularly in a conflict-affected and underdeveloped areas. So the occupancy of road space by the private cars is about 70%, while the share of cars in a road-based person trips is only 30%, which the commuting takes long. The average commute by bus is around 89 minutes in a slow-moving traffic, and the main circumferential road, which is the EDSA, moves at speed below 20 kilometers per hour most of a day. And it's getting worse. The most major road moves at 10 kilometers per hour during the peak hours. So the economic losses from congestion only 2.4 billion pesos per day. To respond the recurring issues, the National Transport Policy, which is the NTP, formulates transport vision, which was approved and adopted on December 14, 2018. The transport vision, according to National Transport Policy, is to attainment of a safe, secure, safety, competitive, dependable, integrated, environmentally sustainable, and people-oriented Philippine transport system. To achieve the transport vision, the government hereby adopts the National Transport Policy, which all elements of the transport system and all subsectors of transportations, including the passengers, shippers, service providers, investors, agencies, and instrumentalities of government and those involved in the movement of people and goods, and in the provision of transport infrastructure, facilities, and services shall abide by and use as guidance in a transport development, management, operations, and use. Now we move to Rule 5, the regulation of passenger transport services. In Section 17, routes and areas of operation shall be determined and modified based on the network analysis of travel demand and route capacities, and the application of technical, economic, and the safety standards will be issued by the Department of Transportation upon prior consultation and coordination with the relevant agencies and stakeholders. The potential for emerging and developmental routes shall be based on estimating the potential demands. In Section 18, the Economic Regulation of Road Transport Services, the LTFRB shall be periodically evaluate and access the public transport network and determine the public transport services needed in particularly locality based from local transport route plans, derived from the analysis of local demand, growth factors, local transport infrastructures, and other conditions. Local public transport route plans prepared by LGUs are to be submitted to LTFRB for review and approval. The approved local public transport route plans will serve as basis from the award of franchise by the appropriate regulatory authority. On the base, therefore, the same body shall modify and, if wanted, open the route or area of operation for franchise entry of the most qualified operation entity through the competitive selection or bidding process. Though no preferential right shall be recognized in favor of a prior operation beyond what is provided in existing insurance. In any event, all conditions for the valid invocation of such preferential rights shall be strictly enforced, and regulatory bodies shall ensure, through appropriate regulations, the need of the riding public in such route and area of operation are adequately served. A suitable business model for public transport operations shall be implemented in order to ensure that passenger welfare and safety are granted, in contrast to the current model that encourages risky drive behavior where operation or the driver revenue are based on number of passengers served. The alternative business is such which operator or the driver revenues are based on the number of seat kilometers traveled. Such the business models shall be made part of all overall public transport regulatory frameworks. Section 19. Fare rate setting for public land transport services. Fares for public land transport services shall subject to relevant laws, rules, regulations, and existing contractual arrangements be determined and set or adjusted by the appropriate regulatory body, taking into account capital, operating and maintenance costs, and the reasonable return to operation, as well as the convenience and ability to pay the riding public with due regard to prevailing economic circumstances. In case where the contractual arrangements allow operations to set their fares unrated, and externalities adversely affected public interests occur, the regulatory body may, or upon due to process, intervene and set a range within which fare rate adjustments may be made, or implement such measures as may be required by the circumstances with due regard to the interest of the passengers and the operators. The regulatory body shall require operation to set up a uniform system of account, which shall be one of the basis for establishing stable, transparent, and predictable fares for fees and charges. So, next topic will be discussed by Joshua Miguel Pascual.